Within this decade, we will become the third biggest market for SMBC Group. 40% of our revenue is coming from outside Japan. Geopolitical factors, the much better relationship between India and Japan created during the Prime Minister Abe regime, which is now continuing with Takaichi. I think that is also creating a lot more positive momentum going forward.
I think India to globe and globe to India is going to be a big play. You should be close to a 6 trillion economy in the next 4, 5, 6 years.
And in a business where lots and lots of banks have committed so many mistakes, how come you did not commit any mistake?
It doesn't matter whether you become a 6 trillion economy in 2030 or you become a 6 trillion economy in 2031 or you become a 6 trillion economy in 32. I just see massive opportunities if this 6 is going to keep compounding at a crazy rate.
'97 in India was very different. I was very keen to have an opportunity to work in an international financial market, and the nearest market was Singapore. So fortunately, I had a friend there who said, okay, I'll send you this book with the list of all these companies or all the banks, just write to them and then land up. So I sent letters to 60 or 70 different banks and financial institutions from Singapore, from India, and then I landed up, and then I kept cold calling each one of them, saying, can I come for an interview? Fortunately, I think 7 or 8 of them allowed me time to at least meet them. And I ended up landing a couple of jobs. I have no clue why I chose Sumitomo at that point of time, but I did choose Sumitomo. And lo and behold, I'm still here in SMBC almost 28, 29 years later.
That specific period in Dubai, when you were there in '97, which will make for a very interesting anecdote that I think we should share with everyone.
I reached office on Monday and my colleague tells me, where the hell have you been? I mean, got scared and I called him up. So he said, where the hell are you, man? So he said, is there anyone in the room with you? So I said, yeah. He said, Dubai jayega. So I said, हाँ जाएगा. And my designation in Calcutta was Assistant Manager, Kotak Securities. And my next designation was Chief Executive Officer, Middle Eastern Operations. So it was the biggest promotion I've had in my life. So I reached Dubai and I went to this fancy office in Dera, which was about 8,000 square feet. The top line of Kotak Dubai at that time for calendar 96, that's what the year end was there, was $12,500, $12,000, 37,000 dirhams. The expenses were about 700,000 dirhams. Either you've asked me to shut it or you've got to get me to do something about it. He said, you have time till June of 98. Either you shut it and either you turn it around. Running a private bank within a bank, I think one of the biggest things which I give massive credit to Uday for is him listening to a kid like me and saying that I hear you and you will not be part of the consumer bank. You will be a division which is going to be an independent division within the bank per se. Because the moment you have a banker which is going to focus on, or a private banker which is going to focus on CASA, you've had it, because you're going to ask a customer to keep money at 2.5%, whereas a liquid fund is going to give him 6% only because of the fact that at 2.5% you're going to make a spread of 4%. And on liquid fund, you're going to make brokerage of maybe 10 basis points or 15 basis points. Massive respect for that man, as I would assume a lot of people would have, who heard me out and within 15 minutes took that call and said that okay, let's keep it as a separate division.
What has been the thought process, how this business model evolved? And in a business where lots and lots of banks have committed so many mistakes, how come you did not commit any mistake?
His biggest statement to us has been, I want to be the last man standing. And the moment you have that thought process that I want to be the last man standing, then risk or risk management automatically becomes a huge piece in any decision which you take. And I think it would be that single-minded focus of the firm or the group to say that whatever happens, I just want to ensure that I'm there, because if I'm there, there will be opportunities which will keep coming. Each of these businesses actually runs in a completely verticalized manner with very little intervention from the board of the bank. Each business has an independent hierarchy, and it runs completely on its own. And I think that makes Kotak a very great place to be part of.
We made an investment of $280 million to buy a 4.5% stake in Kotak Bank in 2010. And we thought one of the quickest way would be to become a minority shareholder in a financial institution. May of 2010, he said, we're looking for a strategic shareholder, but we need a decision by August. Are you able to make it? And we made it in 3 months. But again, fortunately, that investment turned out to be a very good decision, and that helped pay for a bit of our investment into Yes Bank. But now, I think, obviously, a combination of geopolitical factors, the much better relationship between India and Japan created during the Prime Minister Abe regime, which is now continuing with Takaichi, I think that is also creating a lot more positive momentum going forward. Again, our own investment in India into our various entities is getting closer to 7 billion. But when we think about our direction globally, I think SMBC Group, obviously Japan is our home market. We are going to be there permanently. But now 40% of our revenue is coming from outside Japan. Now, with this investment we've made in India, I think I see that within this decade, we will become the third biggest market for SMBC Group. And I think our vision is to become the largest foreign bank in India within the next few years. So coming to your question, 4 years is a shorter point of time. I don't want to only think about 4 years, but I definitely want to think and feel that firstly, by sometime in early 2030s, we should become the top foreign bank in India. And hopefully in the future, our platform in India will be in the same scale as Kotak Bank. It's across the entire spectrum of the financial sector in India.
I just feel that you're in the middle of a massive wave as far as India goes. The way I look at it is that 4 trillion economy, give or take, growing at 6.5% worst case GDP, plus take an inflation number of 2.5-3%, nominal GDP of 10, which means you should be close to a 6 trillion economy in the next 4, 5, 6 years. And it doesn't matter whether you become a 6 trillion economy in 2030, or you become a 6 trillion economy in 2031, or you become a 6 trillion economy in 32. It will obviously be better if we do it in 2030. But I just see massive opportunities if this 6 is going to, it's just going to keep compounding at crazy rate.
India will continue to be a capital deficient country to a large extent. So that means even though competition we're going to be strong in India, but there's still, given that we'll need to keep attracting more capital, I believe that the net interest margins will still remain a bit higher than most other economies, including Japan.
Banking, what is more important than knowing what to do is knowing what not to do. And it is a simple business. Somehow we have complicated it too much. At the end of the day, the business is borrowing at 2% and lending at 4% and pocketing the 2% in between. And I think eventually there is a return to simplicity and just doing the right things, and that is what really builds any institution. On the larger thing of the India finance opportunity, what has been very confusing to people generally is that India always appears a very interesting place where it is never as good as it appears to be, and it's never as bad as sometimes it appears to be. But the reality is that on a net basis, when you see how far financial services have come, it is extraordinary. Today, it is possible for people to identify niche segments and focus on it. So you can choose to focus on just one particular opportunity, and that itself is deep enough if you know what you are doing and you do it right. We have never had such a clean balance sheet of banks and NBFCs as we are having now. So what we are going to see, so we are seeing a beautiful ecosystem where public sector banks are going to grow. We are going to see new private sector banks coming in challenging the incumbents, and we will see the incumbents also grow. So the entire ecosystem is going to grow.
One is extremely bullish on and wants to take a reasonably big call on is the globalization of India. I think India to globe and globe to India is going to be a big play. The second, I would say, is, and a lot of people would have spoken about it, but I think the digitization part of India per se in anything to do with consumer is something which I think is going to become bigger and bigger. The way we intend to play it is, one is clearly through the core India mapping, which we've done through 811, our digital app, and the Neo journey, which we've created through our Kotak Securities piece.
AI, again, most Japanese companies, including SMBC, see that as a positive because you can do a lot more with fewer people. There is so much of opportunity to use AI in adjacencies of various businesses where we can create a lot more newer products. So again, for example, agentic AI company, which is called Kaigentic. We will try to create agents which we will use within SMBC group, but those agents, we can then sort of offer it as solutions to our customers. What I'm now seeing is there's a lot more enthusiasm by various parts of the Japanese sort of organizational framework to come and visit India, get to know India, and ultimately make a call. And I feel that the organizations in Japan have also changed a lot because in the past, the focus on stakeholder or shareholder value was not as high. But now, over the last few years, there's been a lot more focus on streamlining your business, making sure you're a lot more efficient, make sure you're trading at well above one-time book, which was most Japanese companies were trading well below one-time book. So I think that implies that they need to be in a market like India where they can actually manufacture something, produce something, obviously supply into the domestic market and possibly export into global markets.